As we've seen, Cloud Post decks before, usually splashing blue. This is just a straight green build. It's using Into the North to put together Dark Depths plus Thespian Sage, and also has the just Vesuva, Cloud Post, make a bunch of mana, Primeval Titan into a bunch of Eldrazi's, all the stuff we're accustomed to seeing out of this deck.
All the sweet 12 post action.
Yep.
Phimus going to start here with the Verdant Catacombs. Going to go down to 19. It's an Underground Sea. After shuffling up here, we'll see what his turn 1 play is going to be.
And if you're Phimus, you have some cards in your deck, but a lot of them just don't matter, quite frankly. It's going to be, can I get Jace the Mind Sculptor into play, or can I wasteland John enough times where he kind of can't function?
Yeah. Because given the matchup, John can do some pretty crazy stuff, which is just generate a bunch of mana and cast some broken spells. Here's an Inquisition of Kozilek. Show me what you got. You got a top, a Crop Rotation, an Emrakul, excuse me, Dried Arbor, a Vesuva, Glimmer Post, and a Snow-Covered Forest.
A fairly anemic looking hand, but remember, Crop Rotation can go get Cloud Post, and then the ball gets rolling here.
I wonder what you take here between top and Crop Rotate.
I think that if he has a Wasteland, that he probably wants to take the Sensei's Divine Top and otherwise the Crop Rotation. He just kind of can't risk John getting a Cloud Post here uncontested.
Yeah.
Because the rest of hand is really well set up once he has something.
Yep, there goes the top. All right. Kassari, time to take a draw, my friend. A Brewer's Paradise is where he is. Green Sun Zenith.
Momentary pause here.
He got scared. Zenith. Does he have another Dried Arbor?
He has 2 copies.
Yep, that's just good deck building right there.
That's just how you build a deck.
I like it. I like it.
Very rarely seen here. I wonder if it's for exactly this kind of situation.
I don't know at this point if all builds of Elves should have, if they have 2 copies of Dried Arbor, but I think they should. I think that card's super important there, and I don't know, I just like having 2.
It does feel like the second copy comes up a fair bit.
Yeah. You can surprise block on someone with a fetch land. Sweet interactions.
Also, natural orders in your deck.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
Inquisition number 2.
And you can see why Phimus led off by taking the top, because John could not really cast Crop Rotation effectively on turn 1.
Phimus going to play a land. Has Dismember, could kill Dried Arbor, choosing not to. Pithing Needle the draw.
Pretty curious that he would elect not to, since I don't know what else that Dismember is really going to be up to here.
Yeah.
Maybe he suspects maybe he really needs to cast a Brainstorm this turn or something, but...
Kassari looks like he wants to cast Pithing Needle. I'm just not sure if he knows what he wants to cast it on.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, he just might not believe that Phimus has a Wasteland in his hand, and at that point, he may be served naming one of Phimus's Planeswalkers, as Liliana of the Veil does some work against this board, as does, and of course, Jace the Mind Sculptor is always threatening.
Yeah. So, here comes Needle. Now, of course, Needle is a card you have to respond to. So, for example, if Phimus wants to use that Verdant Catacombs, he needs to respond. Okay.
Yeah. He passed the test.
Yes.
I've seen this happen a lot before.
Me too.
Tank. Okay, no response. All right, Flooded Strand.
Yeah. Crap.
Son of a bee sting.
Bayou will come into play. Phimus goes down to 18. After the shuffling is done, we'll see exactly what Pithing Needle is going to name. Get confirmation from our table judge there, and we'll be on our way.
I mean, Liliana of the Veil is actually kind of a troubling card for John right now, as he has creatures in play, and he's running low on resources and needs to generate more of them.
Kassari going to play another copy of Driver, get in for 1. Can we get a name? And he's going to name Wasteland.
Still respectable.
Yeah, that's what Needle is oftentimes in the deck for. Verdant Catacombs to draw here for Phimus. Going to play that, just pass the turn back. Still has Dismember, still not using it.
Yep.
A little surprising.
The only real Dismember target in John's deck is 1 copy of Oracle of Boldiah. Otherwise, it's Primeval Titans and then bigger stuff.
Here's an attack for 2. We're going beatdowns. We're not in the post just yet.
Yeah, this is, I would not call this the backup plan, but it is what's going on right now.
Here's a Tropical Island. Phimus is going to take a little bit of damage. Maybe he fires off Dismember now.
Again, that Dismember's not really doing a whole lot else.
He just gets to play the role of actual Stone Rain, which, to be fair, isn't all that exciting.
It's more exciting than it being in his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have been willing to wait a little while to hope to find a Brainstorm and shuffle it away because he didn't want to use a spell there. But
all right, Phimus take a draw. Looks like I think a Deathrite Shaman showed up here. Yep. Pass it back. Not doing anything too crazy right now. It's Kassari will draw a card.
yeah, neither player with a lot going on.
Some discard spells and some damage exchanged, and moving on.
John really needs to find a Cloud Post before he can do anything really powerful.
Yeah, there's a Glimmer Post. Going to do the Locust count. There are 2 in play, so he's going up to 23.
Primeval Titan could do a lot of work here as well.
Does that on occasion.
Yeah. Because the threat of that is looming. I mean, John's going to make his land drops here.
Another copy of Deathrite Shaman. Just pass the turn back. Another unexciting turn. Kassari draws a Windswept Teeth. Again, he's got a small white splash in his deck. Looking at a Vesuva as well. Gonna play the Heath. Just pass the turn back. Phimus gonna use Deathrite Shaman. Crop rotation goes bye-bye. Kassari goes down to 21.
And a lot of fuel in the graveyard. Of course, a lot of lands and numerous spells that Phimus has cast thus far.
Abrupt Decay of the draw. Can take care of the Pith Needle. Cannot kill Dried Arbor, as it is a land. Cavern of Souls in Kassari's hand. He's going to play Thespian Stage. Okay.
Well, that certainly adds to the number of threatening draws that John has access to.
Phimus going to use Deathrite Shaman, removing Inquisition, and also going to remove another Inquisition. So Kassari's going to go down to 17.
Now, of course, the Dark Depths or a crop rotation out of John is a really threatening draw.
Hey, give me an Expedition map, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here's a Brainstorm, though. That's a real draw, finally. Jace, Creeping Tar Pit, Thoughtseize. Those are magic cards.
Those are some good ones.
That'll make things real tough for Kassari.
Well, this is the thing about John's deck. One really powerful draw, and he can break out of something even like Jace.
Yeah.
He's not, a normal mid-range deck where Jace Fate Sealing is going to lock the game up for sure. Certainly, Jace is a very good start for Phimus, but by no means a lock. Now, does he want to hold that back in his hand to support Force of Will? Does he just want to try to activate Deathrite Shamans over and over again?
I'm going to go with Thoughtseize. Emrakul is the only card, so that's going to get shuffled back in. Crop rotation obviously will stay away, but Emrakul is going to be on the stack, and he can actually, because it's in the graveyard, he could Deathrite Shaman that. He chose not to.
Yeah, I don't think he's that worried about John drawing the Emrakul right now. It's also unlikely that the game gets to a spot where specifically Emrakul is required through something like Eye of Ugin to win the game.
He also does have other monsters, too. So.
Yeah, calls like a Nula Mog are usually sufficient to get the job done.
I would hope so. So Kassari's going to shuffle those cards back in. Of course, crop rotation again, staying out of the deck as it was exiled from Deathrite Shaman. So it looks like we're all good to go there. Creeping Tar Pit could get played here. It looks like maybe Deathrite going to go attacking. It is. Are we considering the old copy Dried Arbor play? I don't think we are.
That's being staging the Dried Arbor and double block.
Yeah, to be fair, that's been has a tap to activate, so yeah, that's not a line that could happen. Would have been sweet though.
And there's Expedition map.
We are doing it. He might have to. Oh my God, he might have to force will this removing Jace, and Jace was probably his big plan.
I mean, now that he's picked up a Creeping Tar Pit and he has the 2 Deathrite Shamans, he has a lot of closing speed here.
Yeah.
But it is pretty risky to let this map get into play.
I don't think he can let this resolve. I really don't. Yep. Force removing Jace.
It feels so bad to do this because John has so many draws like Expedition map
Yeah.
that it's hard to imagine you're going to keep him off it for the whole game, but it just opens up too many powerful lines of play for John.
There's Vesuv. It's going to copy, I believe, Glimmer Post. Going to gain some life here. 3 Locusts in play, so assuming he did copy Glimmer Post, it's going to go up to 19. No Deathrite Shaman. Going to remove Force Will, so down to 17 now. All right, Phimus going to untap those Deathrite Shaman. No card in hand. Not quite sure what he drew. Might just fire up the old Tar Pit. Can get in for 5 here. Tar Pit and both Deathrites.
Yeah, if he drew nothing of note, that's the way to do it.
Gets the most damage across. Yep, that's what he's going to do. Yeah, try.
Yep.
The Bluff Reacher Dryad Armor. No, just take 5. Kassari, a little knock of the deck. How'd we do? A lot of good draws. This is 4 mana. How's this? Oracle will die. That's not bad.
Not shabby.
Into the north. Okay. In the north is Demonic Tutor 4. Demonic Tutor 4 Dark Depths. Pass.
Yeah, John could have shuffled there, but he's happy to draw into the north next turn.
Orkmodai, one of in this deck. This is the original Courser of Crewfix. You don't
Yes.
understand how good we had it back in the day. We had it good.
I don't know. I would.
Orkmodai.
It's possible that Corsair is a more powerful tournament level card. Oracle does more explosive things, but
Give me Oracle all day. We had it good.
I think Oracle is more fun.
Multiple lands in a turn. Oof.
It is more fun.
There you do see End of the North. Oftentimes searching up Dark Depths, sometimes a scrying sheet, sometimes a snow-covered mountain. This go around, snow-covered forest, which is a little strange. Don't see that one a lot.
Pretty rare.
I think the least snow-covered land played is probably snow-covered swamp.
That's an interesting. I think it's probably no, it's not because of proclamation decks. Probably the forest because people loved being fancy and putting a snow-covered swamp and snow-covered island in their gifts deck.
Ah, right.
And then
right.
you have proclamation scrying sheet decks with plains and scred decks with red. So it's probably the forest.
Probably is the forest.
Obviously, the blue and black player is doing it for the least cool reason.
In for 3 with the Creeping Tar Pit. Kassari is going to draw that into the north. There's a Pithing Needle. I think we're going to see him cast into the north right now, though. Does that resolve? The answer is yes. Needle, you turn face down. I need myself a Dark Depths. And this is one of my favorite parts about Legacy. There's always the right card for the right situation. This is one of the few land searching spells that can search up a 2020.
Yeah, it is really sweet that the card pool gets large enough to allow decks like this to be constructed.
Yes, yes. That's why I absolutely love it.
When stuff like this is going on, you can really understand why so many people are this passionate about Legacy.
So now, Phimus, is there anything he can really do? There's a forest. Hasn't played a land yet this turn, actually. He searched for a land, but he hasn't actually played a land, so there's in the north off the top again. He could sacrifice Windswept Heath now.
Get another shot at it.
Yeah. He's just going to play Cavern Soul, so that'd be the second land he plays. We'll see what he names with that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Titan.
Yeah, I think
Or
he's happy.
I think it's Giant for Primeval Titan. But
I think he's happy to just try to keep his life total high here and really just put John to the test.
Yeah. And Giant is what was named with the Cavern Soul, so Phimus gonna untap. He's got a Maelstrom Pulse in his hand. But it doesn't look like he has much of an answer. He's gonna take a look at this. I promise it's indestructible. Merit Lage. We have a Jerry Thompson little appearance here.
One of the first invitational tokens.
Yeah. Now, for those of you guys who don't understand how Thespian Stage plus Dark Depth works, what you do is you activate Thespian Stage, you copy Dark Depths, and you keep the Thespian Stage version of this. And the reason you do that because then that's the Dark Depths with no counters, and then you get a 20/20 because there's no counters on it.
Easy.
Yeah. Now, sometimes you can go old school and work down the Dark Depths, but that won't be necessary.
Baleful Strix here are a huge draw for Phimus, as it might allow him a chump blocker and then just enough Deathrite Shaman activations to get out.
Yeah, he's gonna fire up Tar Pit and go, wow, he might
Steal this. I mean, he's going to put John to the test to find some way to get that Strix out of play.
Yeah, so if you're John, I think you have to sacrifice the Heath. Because he's at 4, so sacrifice the Heath's going to put him down to 3. Drawing into the north, I don't think does anything, right?
Not really. I mean, we're just looking at some... I mean, the Dark Depths is already in play. We're just looking at some forests.
Yeah. All right, so he's going to sacrifice this. See if he has a land to go get. Probably does.
He has 3 copies of Snow-Covered Forest.
All right. What he's looking for right now is just another Glimmer Post type card. That's all. Vesuva or Glimmer Post.
Just something to keep his life total high.
Yep. That's it. Now he realizes, man, I thought I had you. Now all of a sudden I'm in trouble because this Baleful Strix is in the way. So let's see what the top card is. Yeah, he's going to copy this right away. Take a look at the top card. There's a Zenith. I think... What will Zenith do?
I mean, Green's on Zenith allows him to get Primeval Titan, which allows him to get, at least at the minimum, some life gain posts.
Yeah. You see the mana here. So the interaction between Thespian Stage and Dark Depths is complete. 2020's coming. Yeah. And assuming that Phimus doesn't have a counter spell, I mean, I'm thinking he has 1 card in his hand, so if he doesn't have 2 cards, then be forceful blue card.
Yeah. At the minimum, it gives him the cushion.
Yeah. So it looks like in just a moment here, Kassari's going to untap with a 20/20 Indestructible Merit Lage token in play. The Green Sun Scene is on the top of his deck. There is Jerry T. Chances are watching from home, knowing his record is safe. Zenith goes to the grip. Top card is an Eye of Ugin.
Another nice piece to work with.
Yeah, that's going to come in. Not going to tap for any mana. That'll be his first land. Top card is a Sensei's Divining Top.
But I think all John's concerned about right now is just giving himself the cushion.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a Zenith for 6. 7 mana tapped. Time to go searching for prime time.
A throwback to earlier standard formats. Not that far in the
Yeah,
past,
not that
I
long
suppose.
ago. Gotta go get Vesuva and a Glimmer Post. He's gonna copy Glimmer Post, of course. Still do a Locust check. I think there are 5 in play right now.
Yeah, the Vesuvas also count.
Yeah.
So Phimus had him on the ropes now, but
Yeah, that got scary for a second there.
now he's in the flying abyss.
Yeah. Not only that, he's got a Titan to deal with.
Yeah, we're not even talking about that just yet.
Yeah.
That's a problem for another turn.
Yeah. So the 2 post triggers will happen. 5 life each. Kassari goes up to a rather comfortable 13. And there's a Glimmer Post on top. And that's the second land for the turn. 1 for the turn, 1 for the Oracle. So about 6 more life, 19.
And all of his careful planning just undone.
Yeah. Good try, man. You almost got me. How about 20 ball?
I like the block.
It's good. Smart. Healthy. Jerry T on the attack, running rampant. There's a Wasteland off the top. A little late to the party now.
And, it's just double checking to make sure the thing can't really be destroyed. Phimus can't activate Deathrite Shamans to get above 20 life, and so I think we're going to be moving on shortly.
As good as a card as Abrupt Decay is, can't beat old Jerry T.
Yep. Phimus just double checking. Sort of hard to believe that this game got away.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. Like it felt like he was good to go, and things were getting bad, and like the brainstorm giving him the Jace the Tar Pit, and the thoughts he was like, okay, things are shifting, and things almost shifted his way completely. But Kassari was able to find Primeval Titan from Green Sun Zenith to get the job done that game. So we'll go to a second one here momentarily, but we're going to come back to the booth here, as it is premium giveaway time, or at least question time. We'll give away at the conclusion of the round. Patrick's got your question. This one's for 6 months. at SCG Live, hashtag SCG Premium. Fire away, Red Mage.
So, John Kassari is playing 12 Post. The deck is so named because of the locus and copying effects in the deck. 4 of those are Cloud Post.
Correct.
4 of those are Vesuva. What are the other 4?
If you can name those 4 other posts, at SCG Live, hashtag SCG Premium for your answer. Again, we will draw the winner at the conclusion of our semifinal round, so it's about accuracy, not speed, as we are going to head back to the match. Post we thought was favored, looked pretty good there, even though things got pretty tough for Kassari.
Yeah, although that's sort of a, if you're Phimus, that's sort of a heartbreaking loss, as he had all the tools that he had to work with. John didn't have anything close to an explosive hand, and John was able to steal that game with that Green Sun Zenith on the last turn. John with a sideboard of a Tabernacle, a Pendulum Veil, Savannah, a Glacial Chasm, 2 Creeping Corrosions, a Galactique, a Sacred Ground, 2 Rest in Peace, 4 Leyline of Sanctity, and 2 copies of Elephant Grass. I like the 2 copies of Rest in Peace coming in here, as Tarmogoyf and Deathrite Shaman really need the graveyards to do anything threatening. Besides that, I think it's reasonable for the Tabernacle to come in, as Phimus is a land light deck, needs a lot of mana. He's got creatures in play, but not a lot of real additions here.
On Phimus' side, he'll be on the play. He's got a Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Phyrexian Revokers, Dread of Night, Force of Will, 2 copies of Golgari Charm, 3 Spell Pierce, a Surgical Extraction, Umazawa's GT, 2 Minotaurax, and a Marsh Casualties. One thing you'll notice about his sideboard, and we saw this when he played against Paul Reitz a little bit earlier today, is that he's got a lot of -1/-1 effects to be able to take care of both Death and Taxes and True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, he's definitely come prepared for the Honest decks, but that is not the type of fight he's in right now.
That's correct. That is not really going to help him very much here. So, Grafdigger's Cage is okay against a card like Green Sun Zenith. It's not anything, I think, all that exciting in the matchup, but it's perfectly reasonable as an additional Force of Will is as well. Spell Pierce has a little bit of use in this matchup, but not a ton. Surgical Extraction can maybe catch something off guard. Hymnotoric, I think, is the easiest card to sideboard in here. And actually, I think Phyrexian Rogue is probably pretty good, too.
Yeah, you can, if nothing else, you can name Sensei's Divining Top. Thespian Stage as well.
Yeah.
Or not Stage, rather, because it's a land, but at least Divining Top.
Yeah, at least Divining Top.
It's better than nothing. And another beater is good, too, because Phimus has to be the aggressor.
Yeah. He needs to just try to kill Kassari as fast as he can. The longer game goes, the worse things get for Phimus, as we saw in that last game, even though he almost did steal it.
I'm actually curious here to see what John does with Rest in Peace, because in one respect, Phimus is a graveyard-oriented deck. Second, but on the other hand, John really needs to keep the core of his deck intact to do his thing, and he already has the 1 copy of Bajuka Bog. So we might feel for, a non-dredge matchup that's a sufficient amount of graveyard hate.
Quick update for you guys in our other match. Hopefully we'll have time to join in there. But Jonathan Joe with Blue-Green Food Chain, he won game number 1. He comboed off.
And that's pretty impressive. I would have expected this matchup to be pretty tough for Jonathan, as he's facing, a fast clock and a deck that can actually kill mana creatures and counter spells while winning the game pretty fast.
Yeah.
What would seem on paper to be a pretty rough mixture.
Again, if you have not seen Jonathan Jobe's deck tech with his Blue-Green Food Chain deck, definitely head to our coverage page. Sat down with Andrew Shrout in the sideboard. He's having a fantastic tournament. Slid right in at 8th place on Breakers. He's making the most of it.
And our tiebreaker situation was as tight as I've ever seen in an open. I mean, Jonathan Jobe snuck in by 3/100ths of a percentage point.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. A very tight finish.
Well, these two, they made it in comfortably, 2nd and 3rd seed.
Yeah.
No problems here for these guys. They have had fantastic tournaments. Again, Phimus defeating Paul Reitzel on his win-in match in round number 8. And then Kassari, well, he just went 7-0-2. Made it look easy today.
Yeah, Phimus has a lot of great tools for beating up on mono white decks, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Look at that sideboard. 2 Golgari Charms, Marsh Casualties, and Umazawa's GT, a Dread of Night. He is not messing around.
Yeah, the game that we watched, game 3 between him and Reitzel, he drew the Dread Knight and did not need to cast it, if that gives you any indication about how things were going.
I mean, Engineered Plague is pretty good against Death and Taxes.
Yeah.
Dread of Night is substantially better than that for 1 mana.
Turn up the heat.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Also, I imagine that Bug Control doesn't really like playing against Lingering Souls. Probably a pretty annoying card for the strategy, so Dread of Night does some duty there.
Yeah. The card's trending downward. Even Shaheen Saruni's given up on Lingering Souls. Poor guy. He's finally given in to True Name Nemesis.
What are you going to do? Can't beat him, join him,
Just admit it's better.
You know,
mostly.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Finally give in and just admit that it's better. All right, game 2 underway here for you guys in just a moment.
And Phimus has to, regular hands of like creatures and maybe one Force of Will or something like that is, that's a hand he has to consider mulliganing that he would never mulligan in normal circumstances.
Yeah. Kassari going to ship it back, not happy with what he sees. See if he can find a better 6. Wonder how well this deck mulligans. It's basically a ramp deck, but it's got top, but it's got some weird wonky pieces too.
I think it mulligans fairly well.
Wouldn't be surprised if it did. I could also see some, you can really piece together some really awkward hands too.
Oh, for sure. And I think the more that you mulligan, it definitely magnifies how good Wasteland is against a lot of your draws. You're less likely to have Pithy Needle, and your draw is way more likely to just fail in the face of a single Wasteland.
There's some really yucky bullets in there that you don't want to draw until a certain point in the game. A card like Emrakul, Kozilek, Ulamog. There's 3 off the top of my head.
Land that doesn't make mana.
Yeah.
Some rough draws.
Yeah, there can be some bad draws, but there's also some very explosive and powerful ones. And, the one thing about Kassari last game is his draw was not very explosive at all. Played some pretty honest Magic. Was able to cobble together the Dark Depths combo.
Yeah, no Cloud Post, really.
Yeah.
Just kind of made his land drops. Gained some life along the way with Glimmer Post, which was very good for him.
Super important. Super, super important. 6 cards. How's John feel this go around? See, he's looking at least a Glimmer Post. Forest. Looks like you got a bunch of lands, actually.
Looks like a Divining Top, too.
Yeah.
This looks like a solid hand.
That might be the fake tank keep. That's what that might have been.
And Phimus has a lot. It looks like 2 Wastelands in his hand.
He's got a Brainstorm he's going to play right away. 3. I'm a little surprised he main phase Brainstorm on turn 1.
Trying to see what would compel him to play it on the first turn. Nothing appears to come to mind. From what I can gather, so.
He's going to hide, it looks like a Force Will and something else. Decisions.
It's especially tough to be brainstorming here on turn 1 because you don't know if Kassari's going to play Pithy Needle on Wasteland or not.
Yeah.
And that really influences what you would want to shuffle away.
Pass the turn back. Kassari going to draw. Forest. Top. Pass it over. Phimus will draw a card.
And it looks like John has one of those yucky draws you were talking about with Ulamog.
See what the follow-up's going to be. There's a Revoker. So Revoker is going to likely name top, but he'll draw a card in response. And now Phimus gets to name a card. I wouldn't be surprised if it was still Sensei's Divining Top.
For sure.
We'll get confirmation. Yeah, and it is.
Very good start for Phimus here.
He's got a clock. Slowing down the top, especially on a mulligan. That's pretty important.
And it's not clear how well John can function in the face of all these Wastelands without his own Pithy Needle.
There's a Dried Arbor past the turn back, offering up a little something to Wasteland.
Yeah, now John's in this horrible position of having to decide which non-basic lands he wants to offer up for the slaughter.
Yeah, kill that one. Take care of the Dried Arbor.
All right, I will kill that one.
Fine, I'll play a Cloud Post. I'll kill that one too. Come on. Verdant Catacomb is going to put Phimus down to 19. See what the follow-up's going to be.
And you can tell this is much closer to the game plan that Phimus wants to execute here.
Here's a Thoughtseize. Oh boy. 2 tops of Ulamog. Couple of lands. Cloud Post, Glimmer Post, and a Dried Arbor.
This is very likely the worst hand I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is what we call this.
2 Divining Tops locked out by a Revoker, a not even remotely castable Ulamog, and 3 non-basic lands into a phase of 2 Wastelands. If you add context, this might be the worst hand I've ever seen.
This is called the Yucky Hand.
Yep.
Does he have to take a card?
Yeah. I want my thought seized back.
Yeah. Do I have?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure. I guess you're Ulamog. I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Shuffle that in there then. I showed you. I had to take 2 to do this.
Given what happened last game, I have a feeling Phoebus is going to savor this one.
Yeah, he's gonna fire down that Dryad Arbor. In comes Revoker for 2. Kassari's gonna go down to 18. And a Deathrite Shaman. Pass it back.
As if Phoebus's draw was not good enough.
Yeah.
A Deathrite Shaman to finish it all off.
There's Cloud Posts. Pass it back. John says, I gotta start rebuilding somehow. Phimus. Looks like he drew a true name. Here's a Wasteland.
True name not as at his best against John, but it is at least a threat.
Yeah, at least it's 3 damage. In for 3 comes Phimus. Kassari's going to go down to 15. That's a true name. Protection from John is a choice. And
And the last 2 cards in Phoebus' hand are Force of Will, blue card.
that must be nice. Kassari draws a card here. I think he drew another Cloud Post, yeah. He's going to play that. So he's working his way towards some mana. And obviously his first 6 spell's going to be countered. Wasteland's going to make things difficult. I think the clock just may be too much to overcome. There's another Force Will. Yikes. And so now he can cast Baleful Strix because he has a backup Force Will and add to the board. Draws a Jace, which is another blue card. Looks like he wants to fire off Wasteland, take care of a Cloud Post.
Yeah, Phoebus being very efficient with his resources right now.
It's an attack for 6. Gonna put Kassari down to 9. Kassari's gonna play a Glimmer Post. He's gonna go up to 11 because there are 2 Locusts in play.
And it appears as though John has brought in Leyline of Sanctity. It is in his hand right now.
Well, there are some discard spells, Hymns and Inquisitions and Thoughtseize. There's not like a high density of them, but they do exist.
Yeah.
Serve it in. 3, 4, 5, 6. This means that Phimus is going to activate Deathrite Shaman on a spell. Pass the turn back. Kassari goes to 5. Kassari takes a draw. That is going to do it. We're going to go to game number 3 here between Pan and Kassari.
Pressure backed up by Wastelands. You saw the formula.
That's the trick. That's all it
There it
takes.
is.
A little discard, a little permission, a little pressure.
Yeah, I mean, John's hand was especially brutal that game, especially in the face of the mulligan. But you saw how good Wasteland can be against John when he doesn't have a Pithy Needle shut it off.
No. Which is very. So these players may go back to the drawing board. They may not. Kassari did bring in Leyline Sanctity, which, again, I was a little surprised about. But if we take a look at Phimus' deck, what kind of discard does he have in front of him?
3 copies of Liliana of the Veil. He has... and that might actually be a reason why. Because the only real out that Phimus has his Planeswalkers as an out to Dark Depths. So if he's already worried a little bit out of the discard, then Leyline of Sanctity can also shut off at least Liliana as another out as well.
Yeah, it just shuts off the targeting part. Obviously, Liliana's discard is symmetrical, but the fact that Liliana targets make you discard, Leyline will block.
And it's possible, I don't exactly know how much John is in the market for his sweepers and fogs. Maybe he doesn't think this matchup is about cards like Moment's Peace or Oblivion Stone or All Is Dust. So in that world, if he's really worried about just protecting his hand and potentially protecting his Merit Lage token from Liliana of the Veil, maybe Leyline makes more sense in that world.
Sure, I actually like the Dustbuster quite a bit in this matchup. It's going to clean up basically everything that Phimus has in play. There's no guarantee that it's going to resolve, but it'll just clean things up if it does. Pretty interesting card to have in there. I'm sure you probably caught some people off guard with that this weekend.
Yeah, I've definitely... That's ended many a Legacy tournament for yours truly.
The Dustbuster?
No, Leyline.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
Not all is dust, no.
I was going to say,
that's very rare.
You've been Dustbustered out, Mr. Burn guy?
No, that's rare.
Yeah.
But White Leyline, yes.
Yeah. That will get the job done.
Some 2 very lopsided games thus far. Although I suppose first game was kind of close there towards the end, but it felt like Phimus had to get fairly lucky to position the game in that respect. And then one of John's many top decks just made the game totally lopsided.
He had many outs to get himself out of the situation, gain life. He could have drawn Glimmer Post himself, Asuva, Expedition Map, Crop Rotation, Primeval Titan, Zenith. Like, he had
A lot of outs.
a lot of outs to get himself out of the situation. He was able to find one. And that's why we're heading to a third one. Kassari will be on the play for this third game. He's just going to consult his sideboard one more time before shuffling up and making sure everything is A-okay.
And it's really interesting here, too, because you have to imagine each of these players in the semifinals. There's one person on the other side of the bracket they would really like to play and one person they'd really like to avoid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kassari would love to play against the Blue-Red Delver deck.
And probably not thrilled about the prospect of playing against Food Chain.
Yeah. And, you know, the Blue-Red Delver deck is a little bit scary because, like, there's Price of Progress hanging out over there and everything the Delver decks typically do, and a very competent pilot in Jacob Corey. But I think, given the two options, I don't think he wants anything to do with, Food Chain? I can't do, God.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, my rampant growth Oracle will die strategy is probably not very good against getting killed or upheavaled on turn 3.
Yeah. And then for Phimus' side, playing Bug Control, I think he'd probably be really happy playing against Food Chain.
Yeah, counter spells and, you know, a lot of disruption. And probably not thrilled about playing against the Price of Progress beatdown deck.
Yeah. So we'll see how the cookie crumbles. Again, on the other side, Jonathan Job currently up a game over Jacob Corey. So the Food Chain deck, I know there are a lot of people who are fans of that deck at home. Up a game. With any luck, we'll get to see Job here either in the backup match or in the finals.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. You know, the matches that I got to watch Jonathan play on camera this weekend, he very rarely comboed off.
Mm-hmm.
He actually just kind of won with 3/3 flyers for 4.
Kassari kept his hand very fast. Phimus going to send his back. It's a focused man.
And he needs to mulligan pretty aggressively in this matchup, I feel like. Normal hands are not going to cut it.
He's got a lot of dead ones, or at least mediocre ones.
But he does have some really high upside draws, particularly ones involving Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to dig for the right cards. Especially with John instantly keeping 7.
Yeah, I mean, John, he snapped it off.
Yeah.
He kept really fast. That's horrifying. With how explosive that deck can be. Anything can happen there.
Do you think any of these decks has the prospect of shaking up the Invitational next weekend?
People like a post deck.
I mean, this is a wild top 4, right?
Yeah. This is very unconventional. People really do like Cloud Post decks. I mean, if they're positioned correctly, it's a very, very good deck. There's a ley line. That might be the reason he kept so fast. Help him dodge some discard. Go top 2. There's Expedition Map. Okay, so help him find a Cloud Post. But this is a nice start.
Very explosive opening.
Yeah. Fluted Delta from Phimus. He's going to go down to 19. Search out some sort of non-basic, and we'll see what spell he wants to cast.
And it's really, you know, there's a reasonable chance that Phimus kept whatever hand he kept on the strength of something like Thoughtseize or Inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So this ley line might do a lot of damage.
Quick update for you in the Jacob Corey, Jonathan Joe match. They're going to a third one. There's a Death Red Shaman. Kassari going to take a draw. And that's a Glimmer Post. Trigger going to go up to 21.
And this might be a game where John gets one of his Cloud Post draws.
He's just going to play top, pass the turn back. Thoughtseize, a dead draw.
Whiff. And Leyline not really easy for Phimus to remove.
I mean,
Basically, just like Maelstrom Pulse, basically.
it's great when it works.
Yeah.
It can backfire very badly, as in when you draw it. But when it works, it is really effective. And we've seen decks like Sneak and Show use just a great effect against discard-heavy decks like Charlotte's Bug or Bug Control back in the day.
Jund.
Yep.
I got Leyline when I was playing Jund at an Invitational. It was brutal.
Would you rather be Leyline when you're playing Jund or Burn?
Probably Burn, because then I can just concede. With a Jund, you're like, oh, I got a Bloodbraid Elf in my hand, and, you know, I can play Magic for a little bit.
Tropical Island going to be searched for by Polluted Delta. Phimus goes down to 18.
Usually when I was playing Burn and they would ley line me, I would try to resolve one Flame Rift or Price of Progress. Just give them one jab on the jaw and then concede.
Put him down to 12 and,
Just
and then leave.
Let them know that I wasn't going to go out like that.
Okay. That's really, really nice of you. Here's a Maelstrom Pulse. So there's the answer for the ley line. All right.
Only one copy in the 75.
Had it.
A lot of pretty attractive lands here for John. Especially that Cloud Post. He's looking here with his top.
That Cloud Post backed up by another Cloud Post from the Expedition map is very, very attractive.
Oh, I guess he went after the map. Okay. I mean, that map is really threatening as well.
That is surprising. There's a rest in peace. I did not expect that.
I don't blame Phimus there. I mean, I assumed once he drew Thoughtseize that he was going to go after a ley line, but maybe once Divining Top's in play, he's already kind of conceding the battle about being able to break up his hand in any sort of appreciable fashion.
Okay. Let's pass the turn back.
And with John already having a Locust in play, I mean, you know, giving him an unchecked Expedition map is asking for a world of trouble.
Patrick, you might be in source for some real fun now. Kassari's looking at a Tabernacle.
We're going to put Phimus to the test here.
I don't know if he's going to put it on top, but he might be in store for some real fun. Now he puts it to the bottom, so maybe he has no interest in it.
I mean, it's pretty low powered here unless you think that Phimus is just not going to pay the upkeep.
Yeah. There's a Cloud Post. Pass turn back. Sacrifice Ridden Catacombs. Down to 17. And with Rest in Peace in play, obviously, Deathrite Shaman. That's a glorified 1-2.
Yeah, and this is not the most explosive opening from John, in part because his Expedition map got blown up. But this opening is cutting out a lot of Phimus's ankles. You know, his Deathrite Shaman, his Tarmogoyfs, they don't have any value. His discard spells, they don't have any value in the face of this ley line. And so John has a lot of time as there's a lot less threatening things that Phimus can do. We're even approaching the stage of the game where it's not even clear Wasteland provides a lot. I mean, it's helpful, of course. I'm sure Phimus would be glad to draw it, but it's not going to just ruin him.
There's Vendilion Click. Phimus going to target himself. Obviously, you can't target the player with Leyline Sanctity in play. Thoughts he's going to go to the bottom. He's got a clock now. Drew Liliana. There's another one. You just discard one Liliana the other. That's easy.
Easy.
Yeah. In for 4. Kassari goes on to 16. There's Lilypad. Starts on 3. Elevator likely going up in a moment.
Well, it's not going down.
That's for sure. Sorry, just now looking at his hand, trying to figure out what to discard. I'll spin top 4 first for information.
Yeah. Wants to make sure he's discarding the right card. And this top is pretty rough where in a place where John can't shuffle his deck because he's just looking at a redundant ley line, a Tabernacle, and a Canaver of Souls. Not a lot of help.
Yeah, and even though Tabernacle will choke up some mana, the fact that the thing doesn't tap for mana is actually an issue. Like, it'll force Phimus to actually use 2 mana each turn on his end, but the fact that it doesn't provide mana for Kassari is like he's not even really playing a land at all.
I mean, Phimus is in a position now where he can just kind of shrug his shoulders and say, okay, I'm going to hit you for 4 or 5 a turn.
Yeah.
And don't really need to cast anything else.
Kassari draws a card. He's going to discard Leyline of Sanctity. So top's on top of his deck. And Phimus is done with his turn. So Kassari's going to draw a top. That much we know. He's going to play the top. He's going to spin the top. 1 new card. Dryad Arbor.
Yeah, still no way to shuffle.
And no Into the North, no fetch land.
And he really needs
Expedition map,
something.
nothing.
The top of his deck is not offering him no help right now.
It's been really ugly. Will he draw a card potentially. The thing is he really needs to get moving because every draw we're closer to Wasteland. You see, Vasu's going to copy Cloud Post, so he can start generating a bunch of mana. He just needs to find a card like Primeval Titan, Zenith, something. He's got a lot of high impact draws.
Yes, exactly the word I was about to use.
He just needs to find one.
Something big.
Phimus going to untap. He's going to take a draw. Again, graveyards don't matter. They're exiled from Rest in Peace, so Deathrite Shaman is just a 1/2. Vendilic being a 3/1. Going to tick up. Time to discard. Going to spin top first for info. Looks like he wants to discard a card at the top of his deck.
Yeah, I mean
the card that's in his hand.
Yeah, he's just trying to clean off a little bit of trash here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can just discard the Dried Arbor that's on top of his deck. He's also looking at the Cavern of Souls and the Tabernacle. Looks like he's happy with discarding Dried Arbor. So, get this out of here. There goes Baleful Strix. There's another Liliana. So, this is going to replace, and now he's going to have to discard a card. What was he holding on to? Ooh.
Ooh, that was what he was really setting up for there.
Yes, it was.
Really heads up play there by Phimus. You got to imagine the way that John is spinning top and putting top on top. That whatever the last card is in his hand, he really values.
Mm-hmm. So Ivugan's gone. So you Tabernacle. The Cavern of Souls mystery card.
It was a pithing needle.
I think it was, yeah. On a 3-turn clock, boy. Ivugan was a setup.
Yeah.
He would have been able to find Ulamog or Kozilek and just basically in the game on the spot.
Yeah, he had a really good path set up here, but Phimus, with a heads-up play, correctly identifying that John was holding on to the last card in his hand for dear life and cleared it out.
When you're drawing a card with top every time in response to Leon activation, that card is important. And there's Tabernacle, so that's going to choke up Phimus a little bit. Will you pass the test?
I mean, this is a new out for John, I guess.
It always is.
It's,
Tabernacle's in play. You always have it out. Will your opponent forget? This is not Magic Online.
yeah.
Attack here for 4. Put you down to 8. Sacrifice the Misty.
Must have drawn something he's casting this turn.
Yeah, it might be a Baleful Strix.
Could be a Revoker.
That would be really good.
Yeah. As John's already demonstrated that the top of his deck's not good.
It stinks. How do we do? Oh,
It's the Revoker.
boy.
And if that's on Sensei's Divining Top, I mean, John, you can see it on his face. He knows his only hope now is Phimus forgetting to upkeep to the Tabernacle.
Yeah,
He's just going to concede.
That's going to do it. Phimus Panda is going to win this match over John Kassari, 2-1. It's been a good run for John Kassari. His first loss this weekend, but Phimus Panda is moving on to the finals, my friends.
Great run for John. A player I know very well from the San Diego area. Very solid PTQ players. Played in at least one Pro Tour, and someone who plays a lot of Magic Online, regularly brewing decks. Very good run for him this weekend.
He likes to battle. He likes to brew. He's having a good time.
Yeah,
But
really nice guy too.
Yeah, of
Just
course.
a really nice guy.
every time we come out to these events, he's always here. We always see him. When we were in San Diego, he was there. I saw him in Oakland, see him here. So a good run for him. But Phimus Pan from the Arizona area. He's moving on to the finals. We don't know who he's going to play.